Exit is clean. That's a strong start. As you head toward Hotzenbach, there's a little upshift, hands are relaxed, and you're already visualizing the first technical section. You check the mirrors quickly, still clear. No pressure behind. Now Hotzenbach, quick tap on the brake, you're setting up for the right left. Use all the curb, don't be shy. This car rewards commitment. There's a hint of rear movement as you turn in, but your hands are quick and smooth, just a micro correction. You settle the car back to throttle early. Could open the hands a bit more on exit for that extra speed. Every carriage here pays off all the way to Hochheiken. Good, tidy run. This is all about finding your rhythm and building confidence early. Through Hochheiken, you keep the throttle steady, just a brief lift as the track tightens. The car compresses in the dip, you ride it out, hands relaxed, eyes up for the crest. Steering input is almost perfectly neutral here, with only a light correction as the rear hints at movement. No overreaction, let the chassis do the work. On the exit, back to full throttle right as the road opens, making use of every bit of track width. Good flow, nothing forced. That's a strong sign you're settling into the lap. You're climbing up to Quittelbacher Höhe now, shifting cleanly, keeping the car stable as speed builds. Over the crest, the car gets light, steering stays calm, no big corrections. As you hit Flugplatz, you're nearly flat, lifting just slightly for confidence as the car unweights. There's a tiny wiggle, your hands are quick but smooth, and you're right back to power. Good composure through this high-speed section. Already you're thinking about the braking for Schwedenkreuz. Schwedenkreuz approaches fast. You give a sharp, deliberate brush of the brakes, just enough to load the nose, then turn in. Lateral G builds up here. You apex tight, staying close to the curb. The car feels settled, and you're early back to throttle. There's a small correction, just managing the rear as you exit. The confidence here is growing, but there's still room to keep the entry wider next time. Watch that, this was brave and calculated. You're already in the braking zone for Armberg. Hard pedal, down a gear, and trailing off as you rotate in. The apex is right on, not risking too much curve, just where you want it. Early back to power, car tracks out nicely, rear is stable. The data shows a slight increase in exit speed over last sector. Excellent. That sets up the downhill run to Fuchsroller. Now it's Fuchsroller. This is pure commitment. Flat out, speed climbing, and you hold the line as the car compresses hard at the bottom. Steering trace is nearly flat, just a slight flick as the road bends. You're trusting the car, not forcing it. On exit, you ride out the compression and allow the car to run out to the edge. Perfect. The suspension's working, but your focus never wavers. That's how you carry speed through. Heavy on the brakes for Adenauer force. Your initial pedal application is strong, sharp, progressive, and right at the limit. As you bleed off the brake and turn in, there's a bit of push. You come off the pedal just a touch early, so the nose doesn't fully rotate. You respond with a little more steering, quick hands keeping the car on line. Apex isn't perfect, but it's a clean save, and you're back on throttle with minimal drama. Consider holding a hint more brake pressure just past initial turn-in for even sharper rotation next time. Now into Metzgesfeld. This section is all about rhythm. You brake gently, keeping the momentum high, and your steering input is subtle, letting the car roll. There's a light throttle lift, rear stays neutral, and you gradually unwind the wheel as you power out. No drama, no overcorrection. There's a tenth left here if you carry just a touch more entry speed, but your focus on balance is spot on. Callan-Hard up next. Brake hard, down a gear, and turn in sharply. The car rotates nicely as you trail off the brakes, and you open the hands early, getting to power quickly. There's a small flick of correction as the rear hints at sliding, but you catch it instantly. The exit is tidy, using all the available road. No wasted movement, just decisive and composed driving. Into Wehrsifen, you give the brakes a quick tap, then turn in decisively, hugging the apex. There's a moment of understeer mid-corner. You add a little more lock and ease off throttle slightly, letting the nose tuck in. Exit is smooth, and you're quickly back on the power. You keep the car balanced and tracking straight out, building speed for the next sector. Breitscheid is all about commitment. You brake late, staying straight, downshift, and apex right where you want. Rear gets light on exit as you go to power, but your throttle trace is smooth, no snappy oversteer, just progressive acceleration. The car feels lively, but always under your control. Up through Exmühle, you're fast on entry, brake release is timed just right, and you're back to throttle as soon as the road climbs. Hands are steady, no overcorrection, and the car stays balanced. The focus here is on keeping speed up the hill and setting up for Bergwerk. This is a really clean, progressive sector, shows maturity and growing pace. Now it's Bergwerk, one of the most crucial corners on the lap. Braking is hard and late, your trail braking just enough to rotate the car. Apex is tight, nearly clipping the inside curve. Throttle comes in early, confident, immediate. You unwind the wheel and the car tracks straight, maximizing every bit of exit speed. This is where lap time is made or lost, and you nail it. Focus is perfect. Watch how the car stays composed. Not even a hint of oversteer as you launch out onto Kesselchen. Up through Kesselchen now. You're flat out, throttle pinned, and the M2 feels planted. Hands are nearly still, just a small correction midsection to settle the car through the kink. You use every inch of road, trusting the grip and maintaining high minimum speed. The telemetry shows you're carrying more speed than last lap. Impressive commitment. Approaching Klostertal, you brake late, pedal force peaks just before turning. Trail the brake a little longer. Nice, it helps rotate the car more smoothly. Apex is right on, and you're early back to throttle. using all the exit curb. The car stays balanced, and you flow onto the next short straight. You're stringing together the lap with real rhythm now. Time for the legendary carousel. You approach on the left, brake gently, and drop into the concrete banking early. Steering is steady, throttle is smooth. The car sits low in the bowl, and you're holding a consistent line, no jitters, no bobbles. This is classic Nordschleife driving. As you exit, you climb up out of the banking cleanly, throttle builds, and you set up for the climb to Hohe Acht. No drama, all composure. You're really in the groove. Braking late for Hohe Acht, you turn in sharply, using all the available grip. The car feels a bit light as you crest, but you handle it perfectly. Steady hands, throttle comes in early. That crest can unsettle the car, but you're calm, keeping it right on line as the road drops away. This is a section where confidence really matters, and you're showing it. Into Whipperman, braking is late, and you turn in with intent. The car rotates well, and you're quick back to throttle. There's a slight slide at the rear, but you're ahead of it, countersteering with a light touch. No lost time, just controlled aggression. This is where lap time gets chipped away, bit by bit. Brinchen now, brake hard, turn in late, and you're right on the apex curb. Throttle comes in early, maybe a touch too soon, but your hands are quick and you catch the minor slide. No off track, and momentum is strong. You use the full exit, setting up for the next set of fast S's. Flansgarten. Here, it's full commitment. The car goes light over the jump, and you're ready. Hands are calm as the wheels touch down, and you immediately steer for the next right. Throttle stays pinned, and you ride out the compression. This is a section where confidence and trust in the car make all the difference. Through Schwalbenschwanz, you're late on the brakes, using the curb, and throttle is back on quickly. The car feels planted, responding to every input. Steering unwind is smooth, and you're set up perfectly for Galgenkopf. This is a strong, tidy sector. Galgenkopf, final challenge before the long straight. Braking is late and controlled. You trail off to help rotate the car, apexing a bit early. Throttle is down fast, rear grips up, and you're maximizing every ppx on exit. The data shows this is your best speed out of Galgenkopf all session. Now, flat out onto Döttinger Höhe. Up through the gears, engine note rising, the car feels stable. This is your moment to glance at the mirrors, check the dash, and reflect on the lap. Breathe, relax your grip, and mentally review each sector, where you were strong and where there's time to gain. You're carrying good speed, preparing for lap 2. Lap 2 kicks off as you rocket down Döttinger Höhe, building on everything you learned in the first lap. The car feels a touch lighter now, fuel burned off, and you can sense the responsiveness growing. Gears are snapping in, and you're holding a steady wheel, tracking dead straight as you close in on Antonius Bucher. This time, you hold the throttle just a fraction longer at the left kink. Confidence growing, the car feels planted. Quick visual scan ahead, already prepping for Tiergarten. Tiergarten arrives quickly. You brake later than last lap. The data shows a few extra meters before you squeeze the pedal, and your trail off is even smoother. Turn in is crisp, and you hug the inside curve a bit tighter. As you flick right, you stay more committed to throttle, picking up time. There's a hint of rear movement, but you manage it perfectly, no hesitation. Through Hohenrhein chicane, the release is tidier and the exit's more aggressive. This is a lap that's already on pace. On the approach to Nordkurve, your braking is harder and just a tick later than lap 1. Trail the pedal, rotate the car with intent, and apex almost right up on the curve. Good progression here. Early throttle, steering unwind is smooth, and you take full advantage of the exit. The data shows your exit speed is up compared to lap 1. That's a clear gain. Excellent. Into Hatzenbach, you attack the entry with more authority, using extra curb and carrying extra speed. Steering correction is minimal. You trust the front end, and your throttle pickup is positive and early. There's no wasted input. Hands stay quiet, and you flow out of the corner, already looking ahead to Hochheiken. Through Hochheiken, your approach is even cleaner than before. Barely a lift, just a gentle touch to set the car as the track compresses. You feel the suspension working under you, but your hands are steady, no sudden movements. On the exit, you're a bit earlier to full throttle, making use of all the road. Momentum is up, and you're setting up perfectly for the fast run ahead. Climbing Quittelbacher Höhe, upshifts are quick and precise, and you're holding the car straight as speed builds. Cresting Flugplatz, your inputs are calm, no hesitation, no correction. You stay flat through the rise, trusting the arrow and the platform. The M2 gets light, but you stay relaxed, hands soft, and you're back on throttle as soon as the car settles. This is the fastest you've taken this section all session. Schwedenkreuz comes at you fast. This time, your brake application is even more precise, just a quick brush to load the nose. Turn in is sharp, and the apex closer to the inside. Lateral G ramps up, but you trust the grip, feeding throttle in a bit earlier on exit. There's a moment of rear movement, but it's anticipated, caught instantly. Your confidence in the high-speed section is obvious. Down to Ehrenberg, you brake late, pushing the limit, and trail off smoothly for rotation. Apex is earlier, and you're picking up throttle even before you're fully through the corner. The car is stable, you track out wide, and your exit speed is up again compared to lap 1. Each lap, your precision and commitment are climbing. Now, focus shifts to the long, fast drop into Fuchsrohr. Into Fuchsrohr, you're absolutely flat out, confidence high. The car compresses at the bottom, and you allow it to use every centimeter of track on exit. Steering trace is nearly dead flat, just the smallest mid-corner flick to keep things tidy as the car loads up and then releases. This is pure commitment, and and it's clear you trust both your setup and yourself here. Heavy on the brakes now for odd and hour forced. Pedal force is strong, and you bleed off just a little more gently than lap 1. This helps rotate the car better, so you hit the first apex and the transition to the right is much smoother. Throttle pickup is earlier and more progressive, and you power out with no fuss. There's a clear gain here, exit speed is up, and you're set for a clean run through Metzgesfeld. At Metzgesfeld, your braking is a touch later, and your steering more decisive. The car rotates well, and you're quick to unwind the wheel as you apply throttle. No rear movement, just balanced, efficient progress. Your rhythm here is starting to shine through, with every corner flowing smoothly into the next. Now into Kallenhard, hard braking, down a gear, and an aggressive turn-in. You trail off just right, getting that bit of rotation mid-corner. There's a slight correction on exit as the rear hints at slipping, but you're quick on the hands, keeping everything under control. You unwind the wheel early, throttle down, and the car drives straight out, using every inch of track. It's clear you're pushing the edge, but never over it. Wear siphon next, quick tap of the brakes, sharper turn-in than lap 1. You trail off the pedal just a fraction longer, and it pays off. The car rotates better through the mid-corner. There's no push, and you're straight back on the power. Hands are steady, the car feels light but planted, and you carry more exit speed out. The flow here is much improved, really stitching the section together. At Breitscheid, your braking is later and more committed. Pedal pressure peaks just as you apex, and you get right back to throttle. No sign of the rear stepping out, just clean, progressive power. The telemetry shows your acceleration here is stronger than before, and you use all the exit curve to keep momentum up the hill. X-Mule now. Approach is quick, brake release is right on cue, and you squeeze the throttle early as the track starts to rise. There's a hint of movement at the rear, but you anticipate it, keep your hands soft, and the car settles. This sector is all about keeping speed and composure. You do both. Textbook stuff. Climbing out of X-Mule, you keep the throttle pinned, prepping mentally for the braking zone at Bergwerk. You're checking mirrors, quickly glancing at gauges, and running through a mental replay of your last lap here. You know Bergwerk is critical for the entire next sector. This is where every tenth counts. Get set, eyes up, time to attack. Here's Bergwerk. Braking is hard and confident, trail just a little longer than before, and turn-in is crisp. Apex is tight, you feel the car bite, and you're already thinking about exit speed. Throttle comes in early and strong, and you unwind the wheel to let the M2 run free. The car is perfectly stable, no hint of wheel spin, and your focus is razor sharp. That was a great execution. This sets you up for a high-speed run through Kesselchen. Up through Kesselchen now. You're absolutely committed, throttle pinned, and you barely breathe on the wheel. Just a soft correction at the fastest kink, then you're back to center, trusting the platform and maximizing speed. Every gear change is quick and clean, and you use every inch of track. Telemetry shows you're carrying your best pace so far in this sector. Klostertal arrives. You brake deep, just at the last safe marker, and trail perfectly into the turn. Apex is precise, and you're back to throttle instantly. There's a bit more rotation mid-corner compared to lap 1, and you open up the wheel to give the car a clean exit. Your line is tidy, and the exit speed is higher, really pushing now. Time for the carousel. Approach is perfect. Brake gently, left wheels right onto the concrete, and hold a steady line low in the bowl. No extra corrections, throttle stays even, and you maintain a clean arc through the entire section. As you climb out of the banking, you're quick on the throttle and ready for the climb to Hohe Acht. This is the kind of consistency that wins sessions at the Nordschleife. Climbing to Hohe Acht, you brake late, using the crest to help rotate the car as you turn in. Throttle comes in early, and you handle the change in camber perfectly. No understeer, just a clean drive out. Hands are relaxed, and you're making the most of the available grip. This is the lap where your rhythm is really paying off. Now into Wipperman. Braking point is even later, turn-in is sharp, and you let the car rotate before quickly returning to throttle. Rear gets a little lively, but you anticipate it, and your quick countersteer keeps everything straight. No hesitation, just smooth, controlled aggression. This is where you're starting to chip away at those tenths. Approaching Brünchen, you brake late, apex aggressively, and get on throttle nearly before the car is fully straight. The exit curve is used perfectly, and you keep momentum up for the following sector. There's a hint of movement at the rear, but you're ahead of it, no loss of drive. This is maximum attack, but still under control. As you line up for Flansgarten, there's a brief moment to breathe, steady the hands, check the mirrors, and focus on the next high-speed section. This part of the track is all about trust in the car and your own instincts. You're ready to commit. Into Flansgarten, full commitment now. Car goes light over the jump, and you keep the wheel centered, hands calm as it settles. Right back to throttle, the car compresses hard, but you ride it out, using every bit of road for exit. This is a section where pure confidence shines through, and you're absolutely on it. Schwabenschwanz comes up fast. You brake late, use the curve, and the car rotates right on the nose. Throttle comes in early, and you're quick to unwind the wheel as you power out. The exit is tidy, and you're perfectly set up for Galgenkopf. The car looks settled, and you're maximizing every KPS on exit. Galgenkopf now, last real test before the straight. You brake right at the edge, trailing off to help rotation, and apex just a little earlier than last lap. Throttle application is quick, and you're hard on power as the road opens. The data shows this is your fastest exit here so far. Clear improvement. Down Duttinger Ho again, up through the gears. The car feels light and fast. Now's your moment to check mirrors, run a quick system scan, and mentally debrief the lap. Where did you gain? Where's the next improvement? You're feeling the rhythm, carrying strong momentum into lap 3. Reset, refocus, and get ready to push even harder. Lap 3 begins, your most committed run yet. Speed is up, the car feels its lightest, and you're tracking perfectly straight down Duttinger Ho. Up through the gears, revs climb quickly, and you hold full throttle as Antonius Bucher approaches. Minimal input on the wheel, just a tiny nudge to stay on the racing line. You're fully in the rhythm now. Tiergarten comes fast. You brake later than either previous lap, confidence showing. Trail off right up to turn in, apex hugging the inside curve. There's a moment where the rear starts to rotate, but you catch it smoothly, throttle is back on immediately, and you power through the flick to Hohenrhein chicane. This is your best transition so far. Sharp, no wasted motion, and maximum exit speed. Hohenrhein chicane, brake deep, release with perfect timing, and flick right, then left, keeping the line tight. Throttle comes in early, there's a touch of wheel spin, but you manage it, holding a straight exit. Every detail is cleaner this lap, you're extracting everything from the car. Nord curve up next, hard braking, quick downshift, and you're more aggressive with turn-in. Car digs in, apex is tight, and you're to throttle before the exit curve. The telemetry shows you're carrying more exit speed, really maximizing the available grip. This is exactly how to push on lap 3. Rolling into Hatzenbach, you're attacking with total assurance. Brake tap is sharp, turn-in is crisp, and you ride the curves with no hesitation. Hands stay quiet, you unwind the wheel early, and you're back to throttle as soon as the car is pointed straight. There's no wasted motion, just pure, relaxed speed. Through Hochhiken, you're barely lifting now. The car compresses, suspension loads up, but you hold full throttle nearly the whole way through. Hands are quiet, just a tiny correction to settle the rear. On the exit, you're to power immediately, using every inch of road. This is the fastest and smoothest you've carried momentum through here all session. Quittelbacher Höhe, you're shifting at the red line, and the car stays totally stable over the crest. Flugplatz is pure commitment, no lift at all, just a relaxed steering input as the car unweights, then settles. No drama, just speed. You're already setting up for Schwedenkreuz. Schwedenkreuz approaches. Your braking is right at the edge, just a feather on the pedal to settle the nose. You turn in, apex perfectly, and feed in throttle early. The rear steps out of touch, but you're ahead of it, quick on the hands, and you lose no time at all. That's true on the limit driving. Downhill to Ehrenberg. Braking is latest yet, turn-in is direct, and you hit the apex tighter than previous laps. You're to power as soon as the front bites, car tracks out wide, and your exit speed is up once again. Every corner now is a small but clear improvement. Into Futzröhre, you're flat out again, your highest entry speed yet. Compression at the bottom is handled perfectly, steering is dead steady, and you run the car right out to the edge. That's complete trust in the platform and your own pace. You're clearly on it now, with not even a hint of hesitation. Heavy braking for Adenauer forced, pedal pressure is right at threshold, and you trail off with absolute precision. The turn-in is immediate, the apex tight, and throttle comes in a split second earlier than either previous lap. No correction needed on exit, you're powering out clean and straight. That's how you make up time in the slow sections. Metzgesfeld, brake late, steer in decisively, and the car rotates beautifully on entry. Throttle application is earlier, and you're quick to unwind the wheel, keeping the exit speed up. Hands are calm, rear stays planted, and your rhythm is better than ever. Callenhard arrives quickly. You're more aggressive here, braking deep, down a gear, and turning in right at the limit. Apex is perfect. Throttle is down, almost before the car is straight, and there's only the slightest hint of rear movement, caught instantly. You exit using every inch of road, maximizing pace without crossing the line. Wehrsifen comes up fast. You brake sharply, rotate in tight, and trail off just long enough to get maximum bite from the front. No push this time. Apex is spot on, and you're back to throttle right away. The car stays balanced, hands are steady, and you exit strong. This section shows you've dialed in your timing perfectly. At Breitscheid, you brake later than ever, apex tight, and hit the throttle almost immediately. No hint of rear instability, just pure, clean drive out. You use all the exit curve, and your acceleration up the hill is the best so far. That's real progress, both in pace and control. X-Mule is next. Approach is quick, brake release is right on cue, and you get back to throttle even earlier than last lap. The rear gives a slight wiggle, but you're ready for it, hands calm, and the car settles with zero fuss. You're carrying max momentum for the climb, setting up perfectly for Bergwerk. As you climb out of X-Mule, this is your mental reset before Bergwerk. Eyes up, mirrors checked, and a quick scan of the dash. You know how crucial this next corner is. Time to bring it all together and attack the entry with full focus. Here's Bergwerk. Braking is right at the last possible moment, hard, but with control. You trail the pedal longer, and the car rotates tightly. Apex is nailed, throttle comes in before the car is fully straight, and you unwind the wheel cleanly. Exit speed is your highest so far. This is where your lap comes alive. The car stays planted, and you launch into Kesselchen with real momentum. Kesselchen, absolutely pinned, no lift, every gear change right at the red line. Hands are still, and the car feels totally on rails. There's only a micro correction at the kink, just to keep things centered. You're using every bit of track, and telemetry shows this is your fastest run through Kesselchen today. Klostertal arrives. You're late on the brakes, trailing deeper into the turn. car rotates with more urgency than before, and you're to throttle as soon as you see the exit open up. No wasted input. Clean, precise, and quick. Exit is straight, setting up perfectly for the carousel. Dropping into the carousel, you hit the concrete at just the right angle, settle low in the bowl, and hold a perfectly steady line. Throttle is gentle, keeping the car composed. You climb out smooth, and immediately build throttle as you crest out. This was classic, controlled, and absolutely by the book. Up to Hoeach, brake late, turn in sharp, and carry plenty of speed over the crest. There's a little lightness, but you catch it. Throttle is already coming in as the car settles. Steering is precise, you're right on line, and there's zero hesitation. You're really attacking this sector. Whipperman, brake late, quick turn in, and you let the car rotate. Rear steps out for a split second, but your counter steer is smooth and controlled. No lost time. You're back on throttle, powering out, and using every bit of road for exit. This is committed, but never careless. Into Brinchen, your braking is latest yet, right up to the apex. Throttle comes in almost before the car is fully straight. The rear moves slightly, but you're ready. Hands quick, and you keep momentum up the hill. No time lost, no drama. That's how you stay on pace in the final sector. As you line up for Flansgarten, take a breath. Hands settle, focus sharpens, and you visualize the perfect run through the jump. Every second counts at this stage. Trust your instincts and the car beneath you. Into Flansgarten, full send. The car goes light over the jump. Hands stay centered, no drama on landing. You're straight back to throttle, using every bit of road for the next right. There's a pulse of speed as you compress into the dip, and you ride it out with calm confidence. This is what it means to trust the car in your preparation. Schwalbenschwanz now. Brake late, turn in crisp, and the car rotates right to the apex. Throttle is down early, you unwind the wheel, and the car stays balanced on exit. You're using every bit of curve and every centimeter of track, maximizing momentum into Galgenkopf. Galgenkopf, the last big test. Braking is late, you trail off smoothly in apex with commitment. Throttle down, the car grips, and you launch onto Duttinger Höhe with your highest exit speed of the session. Every lap, this sector has gotten cleaner and faster. Now it's the long, flat-out run down Duttinger Höhe for the final time. Up through the gears, engine note climbing, the car feels light and alive. This is the moment to breathe it all in, reflect on the drive, the rhythm, and every small gain across 3 laps. You managed traffic, kept your focus, and improved each sector, lap after lap. That's how you turn laps at the Nordschleife into real progress. Commitment, consistency, and always learning. Lap complete. Outstanding work.
The car in C2, just set the fastest lap, 33.02. Left side, keep to the right, clear, keep digging. There's the flag, it's over. Nice run, solid work.